Welcome everyone to the dedication of the Mathew J. Lanigan Bridge. My name is John Nass. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for the Maine Department of Transportation, and I'm honored to be here today for this dedication. We're particularly honored to be joined by President and Mrs. Bush. We know summer's almost here because they're here, and we're thrilled to have them. We're also honored to have them here because they're true heroes to the nation, to Maine, but particularly this community. They've been such valuable members, dedicated to both Kennebunk and Kennebunkport for so many years. And it's fitting that we're also here today to honor Mathew Lanigan, who is also a pillar of this community. We're also joined by town and business leaders, selectmen from both Kennebunk and Kennebunkport, business leaders, chambers of commerce, and the people that made this bridge happen. This span replaces a 1933 steel swing bridge that was rendered inoperable for some time. It was time for a replacement. The Maine DOT, T-Buck, Stantec, and the towns of Kennebunk and Kennebunkport, local businesses and abutters all work together to address the unique community and business needs. Stantec designed a difficult bridge. They worked with the community to explain it. The community came together. We addressed the unique problems and addressed each and every one of them, hopefully to the needs of the local businesses. In particular, it was important that this bridge was built quickly. We have a limited summer period. We had a prelude, and all those needed to still happen. At Maine DOT, we take a holistic look at the cost of a bridge. It's not just the pavement, it's not just the steel, it's what does it do to the community? What does it do to the businesses that reside here and try to make a living? So we did something a little different. We did an incentive contract, and we set a 45-day limit to build this bridge. And the guys from T-Buck stepped up. At one point, they deserve some applause. Yeah. There was a 45-day window. At one point, they were 5 days behind. When they finished 5 days ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
I think they were inspired by the most recent New England Patriots game. That's a heck of a comeback. So thank you for all your hard work. I know you guys were out here, sometimes 24-hour shifts, 12-hour, 14-hour days in the snow. And from what I understand, the community was there with them the whole time. They were supportive, they worked as a team, and this was truly an effort that brought everyone closer together, got the job done, and here we are. So thank you. In conclusion, thank you for joining us, Mr. Bush. Summer is indeed almost here. And finally, we'd like to present a plaque to the family honoring this bridge and dedicating it. Brian, will you come forward?
Wow, this is remarkable. Thanks everyone for coming, especially President and Mrs. Bush. Thank you. It's an honor. You've been rumored for a while, and I'm glad to see you made it out. So when we closed the bridge on March 6th, it came to our attention that the original plaque on the bridge was located just in front of the clam shack. And Harold Pottle, the superintendent, the guy that was here every day, all day, late nights, early mornings, came up with an idea to, absolutely, thank you for the applause, came up with an idea to come to the DOT and say, hey, we should do something with this plaque. And I drew the short straw to show it to the Matt Lanigan family, and here to accept it on behalf of the Lanigan family, as we are actually rededicating this bridge today, is Jack Lufkin. If he could come up here and please accept this heavy plaque from 1933 on behalf of T-Buck Construction, Maine DOT, the town of Kennebunk and Kennebunkport. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Jack, why don't you show it to the president? I bet he'd like to see that. Yeah, Pound's not perfect.
Good afternoon. President Bush, First Lady Barbara Bush, welcome. Thank you very much for coming today. Deputy Commissioner John Nass, distinguished town officials, guests, thank you again very much for coming today. My name is Dick Moore, and I'm the chairman of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Kennebunk. But like pieces of a puzzle, the numerous entities work together to bring this project together. It allowed us to be here to celebrate the rededication of the Mathew J. Lanigan Bridge. I'd like to recognize the excellent efforts of the Maine Department of Transportation, Kennebunkport Construction, and Stantec. Their collective efforts under some grueling conditions in the latter part of February and March, grueling conditions, brought us here ahead of schedule. For that, we are grateful. Thank you very much. As well as very important to recognize the great work of our Bridge Advisory Committee, yet another example of our towns working together for the benefit of all. The Bridge Advisory Committee members from Kennebunk are Jeff Bonney, Bill McDonald, Bonnie Clement, Dwight Raymond, and Selectman Ed Caritko. Working in partnership with our colleagues in Kennebunkport also contributed tremendously to the success of this project. The collaboration between the leadership of the two communities led this to, as I said, an early conclusion. I'd also like to thank the residents, business owners, and visitors, and the many of you who stood on either side of the bridge with a little frustration and a little what the heck is going on in your mind. We understand your understanding and your patience, because this was in fact a grueling process. 84 years ago, this passage was established, and it served the communities very, very well. The reconstruction and modernization of this beautiful structure underscores the continued positive relationship that Kennebunk enjoys with our neighbor. Thank you again for attending.
Good afternoon. My name is Stuart Burrows, and I see a great many familiar faces, so I probably don't need to, but I'm the chairman of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Kennebunkport. And I wanted to just give a couple of my observations about this project. This project has been an outstanding experience on so many levels. In both my municipal and professional life, I'm very accustomed to people seeking me out on the street or by phone. And most often, it's someone with constructive criticism. This can range from a pothole in the roadway in front of their home to issues of much greater public significance. And I'm a hopeless optimist. So, when I see people coming, I'm usually expecting something positive. But even I expected this project to be rife with moments of cranky feedback. I was understandably apprehensive returning the first few phone messages or stopping on the street to take comment. But I'm so happy to share with you that the stories were exceptional, with zero exception. There was one person who stopped me, and a person who's very free with their opinion on a great many subjects, but they came over to tell me that they were in the parking lot one day, surrounded by construction equipment and people working, and one of the crew members came over to them and said, you're having a hard time finding a place to park. Let me move this equipment, and I'm going to move that truck over there, and you can pull right in here. And that kind of story queued up the rest of the feedback I heard through this entire experience. There was someone who helped, a person carry bags, and it was just really outstanding. So thank you to the amazing teams that not only pulled this ambitious project off ahead of schedule, but did so with grace and a truly remarkable level of service. I'd like to mention a few people specifically, and I'll do that, but I need to share that this has been a great process, and it's really owing in large part to the synergy between state, local, and private organizations that have exceeded expectation at every turn. So thank you to Jonathan Nass, the Deputy Commissioner of the Maine DOT, for the commitment and public process that allowed the bridge to be rebuilt while taking into account the needs of local businesses and the residents. Thanks to Tim Merrick from Stantec for shepherding the design and public process to completion. Thank you to Brian Emmons and Harry Pottle of T-Buck for quality work, exceeding expectations, and by beating deadlines, and their partnership with local businesses during what would otherwise have been a really, really difficult time. And really, I can't stress enough how big a piece of this entire success that was. Thank you as well to Zach Kellum, an artist over there at the end of the bridge, who we have to thank for the sign. He took the sign down as this construction process was happening and burnished it and spent hours restoring it so that it would be ready today for us to rededicate this bridge. Thank you as well to the Bridge Advisory Committee from Kennebunkport, who worked with the towns and with the DOT. Selectwoman Sheila Matthews-Bull, Thomas Boak, Deb Lennon, Ashley Paget, and Richard Smith. Again, collaboration every step of the way on this project. One other thing I want to draw people's eyes to, because it hasn't really been called out, but it's, I think, a really neat piece of this, are the interpretive signs that have been placed in a couple of locations here along the bridge. And I wanted to thank Sandy Severance, who is located right over there at the end of the bridge, and also Nancy Montgomery from the state, who did just an amazing job of fact checking and putting these together. As has been mentioned, this bridge was dedicated on April 27th in 1933, 84 years ago. And the new, let's see, according to the book Kennebunkport, The Evolution of an American Town, 500 people gathered to watch the ceremony that had been planned by the head of Kennebunkport's Girl Scouts, Ms. Marion Mailing. Girl and Boy Scouts from each town, wearing uniforms and carrying flags, marched to the center of the bridge to break a red, white, and blue ribbon that had been stretched across it. The Reverend of the Methodist Church at Cape Porpoise offered a prayer. Elizabeth Perkins read a poem by her father, Silas Perkins. Patriotic songs were sung by the Scouts, and the first car to drive across the bridge was Maud Durrell Grover. The width was 92 of the 92-foot long bridge was 24 feet, plus 5-foot wood sidewalks on each side, and was well worth the almost $44,000 it cost the state at the time. So with all the words behind me, I'll give you just a few more, and they're about a friend of mine who we are here today to dedicate this bridge to, Matt Lanigan. We lost Matt at the young age of 48 on November 27th in 2012. And from his birth in San Juan, Puerto Rico, to his formative years spent in Florida, Matt moved through life making friends and leaving admirers in his wake. Here in Kennebunkport, he was well known as the owner of the Emporium, right just to my right and your left, American Sailor up the street, and for his volunteer service, outstanding volunteer service, I have to say, to our community, especially during the Prelude festivities, CHEMS, which is our EMS service, and the KVA. Matt could be found during Prelude climbing every branch in the tree, making sure it was lit just right. He also organized sound and entertainment for that. Matt was at the center of so much that is wonderful about Kennebunkport. I came to know Matt best during the 4 consecutive terms he was elected to serve on the Board of Selectmen. Matt loved Kennebunkport, and we had no better ambassador greeting people as they came across the bridge into our communities, standing oftentimes right there at the end of the bridge, greeting people as they approached. So I can think of no more fitting or appropriate thing than to dedicate this bridge to Matt's memory. Alan, Sheila, if you would be so good as to... Thank you. Oh, please do, please.
I just want to say we have Jennifer Lanigan with us on Skype today. She wanted to be here, but she couldn't get her whole family up from where they are now. So we have her on the phone, and she's here with us. And welcome, Jennifer.
With the kids and everything.
With the kids and everything. And Matt, we miss you.
So we're gonna line everybody up, close, close, close. Go down your end.
Yeah, no, they actually posted it on Facebook.
We got you.
Everybody get right up here.
We're going to count down from 3. So 3, 2, 1. Thank you. I'm Laura Dulce. I'm the Executive Director of the Kennebunkport Arundel Chamber of Commerce. And I'm here to introduce the lovely Girl Scouts who we have on either side of the bridge and behind me. These are the Girl Scouts of Kennebunkport, and Arundel. And they are here to kind of reenact the first bridge opening in 1933. And just as Girl Scouts begin their journeys as a daisy, they're here today with daisies to present to each other, to symbolize the new beginnings for the bridge, and they have flowers to present to President and Mrs. Bush. We're going to now begin to clear the bridge so that the antique vehicles can be circa of 1930s when the bridge was first opened, can be the first vehicles to cross the bridge. So we're going to ask pedestrians to move to the sidewalk area, and we're going to start removing barricades.
Love you.
Okay.